Before I translate, I did not introduce Dr. Makawi adequately. Let me say she's a pioneering woman in the Muslim world who has been recognized for her pioneering abilities. She is a professor of law at the University of Muhammad al-Khamis in Rabat. She has authored many books, and she broke quite a barrier when she was the first woman to give the Hassani lesson at the palace during Ramadan, a tradition which has existed for hundreds of years and only men have given that lesson. She was the first woman to do it. Again, there are many barriers that she has crossed successfully and with the support of her community and her society, because she did it so well. And she is one of the 3 major founders of the network who are scattered across the Muslim world. She points out that when the network was founded within Karamah, it was founded with the intention that it is free to think without taking directions from above, whatever that above may be, right? But that it is going to study and try to put its finger on what are the problems within the society and the community they're focusing on, and then try to solve these problems.
حقيقة وفقنا في هذه المسألة بحيث وصلنا إلى حقيقة أساسية، وهي أن الحاجات تختلف من جماعة لأخرى. فالمرأة المسلمة في أوروبا مثلا لها مشاكل ولها خصوصيات ولها حاجات هي غير الحاجات التي نرسلها باستمرار في مجتمعات الوطن الأم.
Dr. Makawi says that the network has been successful in trying to identify the different problems in different societies that face Muslim women. In particular, for example, it became clear that the problems facing the European Muslim women are different from those faced by other Muslim women in other countries, and therefore need special attention, different kind of solutions.
لذلك فنحن حينما نفكر في إطار الشبكة نفكر في موضوع ما نفكر به مع الأخذ في الاعتبار هذا السياق العام الذي توضع في إطاره الأفكار والنظريات والاجتهادات.
So when we are looking at a problem, we look at it in 2 ways, and one of them is to understand that there is a general approach that has been used to solve problems and study them, in addition to the fact that we're looking at the specificity of the issue.
إذا خلينا فقط مثل نساء في أوروبا مثلا كمسلمات يعيشن في مجتمع لا يعتبر في كثير من الحالات لا يعتبر هذه الخصوصية أو الاختلاف العقدي والثقافي، وبالتالي يعني يلاقين كثير من المشاكل أكان في التعبير عن في حرية التعبير، في حرية اللباس، في عدد من المواقف. بالتالي كان لزاما على شبكة كرامة أن تدخل في حوار مع الاتحاد الأوروبي ومع البرلمان الأوروبي لاعتبار هذه الخصوصيات يعني ولمراعاتها في أثناء اتخاذ القرارات.
For example, the Muslim women in the European Union face issues not faced, as I mentioned, in other parts of the world, such as freedom of expression, freedom of dress, in a situation where very often these are frowned upon and limited. By the way, for those of us who are American, I might point out that the laws in the EU are more restrictive than those in the US, because in the US we have the First Amendment, which guarantees for us a great deal of freedom, although we have seen also similar behavior in the United States. So as a result, in order to improve the situation of the Muslim women in Europe, the Karamah women have found it important to engage in discussions with leaders of the EU Parliament and of other country leaders in Europe to basically bridge this gap between being a European and being a Muslim and being a woman. There's no contradiction. It's just that we need to bridge that gap through understanding and discussion and moving away from biases and stereotypes. I added a little bit, I think. I'm sorry. But that's the idea.
فهذا الأفكار كلها أعتقد تجيب على السؤال الذي تقدمت به السيدة عن كيف يعني كيفية مراعاة أو تكييف الاجتهاد مع الواقع المحلي وعدم فرضه من أعلى. وأضيف إلى هذا أن شبكة كرامة لا تنوي أن تقدم حلولا جاهزة على طبق جاهز للمجتمعات المسلمة، وإنما تشتغل من أجل أن تخلق قياديات ومجتهدات مسلمات يعرفن بالثقافة الإسلامية، وبالتالي يشرعنهن بأنفسهن في الجواب على الحاجات وعلى المشاكل وعلى ما يستشعرونه من فراغ في مجالنا.
So the point that I think we've made pretty clear now, and I might mention that I went on a little bit on the last point because I was involved with some of these negotiations with the leaders in Europe, and I'm very much involved with the European situation as my sister here is. And she points out that what is important is that we are engaging in ijtihad, which is the ability to interpret Islamic laws in the light of the needs of the communities and their problems in modern times. However, she wanted to point out that Karamah does not intend to offer the world ready-made solutions, you know, on a plate of silver and say, here are the Karamah solutions, take them. That's not our approach to the world. Our approach is that we would like to educate women, jurists, like Sister Sarah here and other in the younger generation that will follow us, who will take on the task of doing what she did today and others, so that they will develop solutions within their own countries, within their own communities and understanding. They will be the jurists of tomorrow, and they together will have a collective solution for the problems that are being faced by Muslim women in the world.
يعني أختم بكلمة أقول فيها شبكة كرامة العالمية تود وتوجه من هنا نداء لكل من له يعني تطلع أو له رغبة في أن يضيف أي شيء لكي يتقدم باقتراح ترشيح نفسه لكي ينضم إلينا، لنضم جهودنا إلى جهود بعضنا إلى بعض كي نستطيع أن ننشر ثقافة الوسطية والاعتدال والاجتهاد في العالم الإسلامي، وكي نحرك في المرأة المسلمة هذا يعني الشعور بالاحترام تجاه ثقافتها، وبالشعور بأنها يمكن أن تحرر نفسها وتحرر أخواتها انطلاقا من ثقافتها.
So Dr. Makawi is closing her statement by pointing out we're an open organization. We invite those who are listening to us and who feel they have the ability to engage in jurisprudence and to serve within the context of what we're talking about, to please join efforts with us to develop various solutions to problems based on an enlightened understanding of Islamic law, to put forth views with moderation and balance that are based on active and thoughtful ijtihad or interpretation of Islamic jurisprudence, and that would then trickle to the Muslim woman in the average Muslim woman on the street, so that she would regard her culture and religion with respect and feel her ability to be free within it, as opposed to being frustrated and lost in a chaotic atmosphere. And here, let me add some of my own views, is that when you leave the Muslim woman in a chaotic atmosphere, she doesn't know her religion, she is then a sitting duck for all sorts of views, ranging from the extreme left to the extreme right, that do not serve her interest. And therefore, the work of Karamah is extremely important, that we, as the Quran says, we are a moderate nation, we are a moderate people. That's the view that the jurists need to develop for this day and age when we attempt to help women, especially Muslim women, move forward and accomplish and succeed in today's world.